New York City's skyline tells a story. From humble beginnings as a Dutch trading post, New York has grown into a global architectural icon. Its buildings reflect centuries of history and human ingenuity. The city's architectural journey is as diverse as its population. Dutch colonial houses gave way to British Georgian styles. Federal and Greek revival buildings followed American independence. As the city grew, so did its architectural ambitions. Gothic spires and Romanesque arches reached for the sky. Then came the age of skyscrapers, forever changing the urban landscape. Art Deco brought glamour to the streets. Modernism stripped away ornament for sleek functionality. Postmodernism playfully mixed old and new. Today, contemporary architects push boundaries with daring designs. Green buildings and adaptive reuse projects point towards a sustainable future. From the brownstones of Brooklyn to the glass towers of Manhattan, every structure has a story. We'll trace New York's transformation from a small settlement to a world-renowned metropolis. New York's architectural story begins with the Dutch. In 1624, they established New Amsterdam on Manhattan Island. Early Dutch buildings were simple and practical. They used local materials like wood and stone. The Dutch favored steep roofs to shed snow and rain. One of the oldest surviving buildings is the Wyckoff House. Built around 1652, it stands in Brooklyn. It's a rare example of Dutch colonial architecture. In 1664, the British took control of New Amsterdam. They renamed it New York. British rule brought new architectural influences. The Fraunces Tavern, built in 1719, is a fine example. It still stands in Lower Manhattan today. After the American Revolution, New York's architecture took on a new character. The federal style emerged as a symbol of the young nation. This style was simpler than Georgian, but still elegant. Buildings featured clean lines and subtle decorations. Red brick was common, often with white trim. The Maurice Jumel mansion, built in 1765, was later remodeled in federal style. It stands today as Manhattan's oldest house. As the 19th century progressed, Greek revival became fashionable. This style looked to ancient Greece for inspiration. Greek revival buildings often featured columns and pediments. The Greek revival style remained popular in New York until the 1860s. As New York grew, its architecture became more diverse. The mid-19th century saw a revival of medieval styles. Gothic revival was particularly popular for churches. This style featured pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and ornate stonework. It aimed to create a sense of awe and spirituality. Trinity Church, completed in 1846, is a prime example. Its soaring spire became a landmark on the New York skyline. Gothic revival wasn't limited to religious buildings. It was also used for civic structures and homes. The style emphasized verticality and intricate details. The Jefferson Market Library, built in 1877, shows this trend. Its clock tower and ornate facade stand out in Greenwich Village. The style was seen as romantic and picturesque. It offered a stark contrast to the city's growing industrialization. Alongside Gothic revival, Romanesque architecture made a comeback. The style, inspired by 11th and 12th century European buildings, was robust and heavy. It featured round arches, thick walls, and often used rough-cut stone. The architect Henry Hobson Richardson popularized a distinctly American version. His Richardsonian Romanesque style influenced many New York buildings.
Section 5, Beaux-Arts and the Rise of Skyscrapers.
The late 19th century brought dramatic changes to New York's architecture. The Beaux-Arts style, imported from France, became hugely influential.
This style combined classical elements with lavish decorations. It favored symmetry, grand proportions, and rich ornamentation. The style was perfect for showcasing the city's growing wealth and ambition.
Many of New York's most iconic buildings are Beaux-Arts masterpieces. The New York Public Library, completed in 1911, is a prime example. Its majestic facade and grand interiors epitomize the style. The library's marble lions, patience and fortitude, became beloved city symbols.
Grand Central Terminal, opened in 1913, is another Beaux-Arts landmark. Its soaring main concourse and ornate details still impress visitors today. These buildings gave New York a sense of grandeur and permanence.
While Beaux-Arts dominated public buildings, a new form was reshaping the skyline. The skyscraper emerged as a uniquely American innovation. Advances in steel construction and elevator technology made tall buildings possible. The race to build higher began in earnest. The Woolworth Building, completed in 1913, is a prime example.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed learning about the vibrant and diverse city, from its iconic landmarks and delicious food to practical tips for transportation and accommodation. If you found this guide helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more travel tips and city guides. See you in the next video.